Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Arsene. 36 hours have passed now since the Bayern game. Having had some time to reflect on it, what are your further thoughts?
But we were in ideal position at half time, and because we were at 1-1, scored the goal away from home, and after that all went wrong for us. I think we looked quite defensively solid in the first half. We lost, I believe, Koscielny in the second half, and after that we lost a bit our structure and our organisation, and were a bit naive on the different goals we conceded. And at 3-1 I felt that we're mentally affected by the result and looked much more vulnerable.
What's the latest on Laurent Koscielny?
Don't know, he has a scan today.
And in terms of the rest of your team use for the Sutton game, what sort of lineup could we see on Monday night?
Well, normal team.
Because in round 4, of course, you gave a chance to the likes of Jeffrey Adelaide and Nazi.
Yes, but I gave a chance just because I think they deserve to play, and they have a good opportunity to show that they can come in for players who usually play, and I think they have done well, and they have one or two might have another opportunity to say that he can play in every single game now.
Arsene, thanks very much indeed for your time. 36 hours on from that result. What's your main emotion at the moment?
The main emotion is that everybody, after the big disappointment, regroups and focuses on what is in front of us. It's the next game, and that to take care of course, the consequences a disappointing result can have on everybody's spirit and on everybody inside the club, and to make sure that we bounce back and focus on the next game. That's what life is about.
I know you like to put things into perspective. Can you put that performance and result into perspective? Is it one of the worst you've experienced?
No, I think we can speak now. I know that the media like this kind of press conferences, but what is important for us is to focus on our next game and let everybody judge and criticize. We have to deal with that, with the media, and focus on what is our job. We can analyze with clarity what happened and focus on what is in front of us and take care of what we can influence now. Is not the last result. We can influence that when you play in Bayern at home, but at the moment we have to focus on what is in of our next game.
Straight afterwards you said that you thought that the team looked mentally jaded and vulnerable. Do you stick by that, and if so, what can you do about it?
Just what I told you, rebuild confidence and belief in what we think is important in the game, and that means the way we want to play football, the way we want to defend, the way we want to attack, and the way we have to respond together.
There are suggestions of a row in the dressing room afterwards. Now, you would expect people not to be happy in the dressing room afterwards, but did it extend into a row?
No. No, not at all. Everybody was, of course, deeply disappointed and affected, but there was no incident in the dressing room apart from a huge sadness and disappointment.
Is the FA Cup now, reasonably speaking, the only trophy you can win this season?
I don't know, but the FA Cup is one of our targets, and it's the next game, and for us to bounce back after the game we had is, of course, becomes a very important game, but it always was in my head.
Because obviously you don't play again in the Premier League until next month, and because it is now maybe more important to you, this competition, will it affect your selection?
No, I always said in my mind that it was a very important game, Sutton, and in my head I have a team who will start and play there for a week or 10 days now. So, but the result we had at Bayern Munich will not influence that selection.
You've given Alexis Sanchez some time off. Could you expand on why and where you think he's gone? Sanchez, some time off. He's been seen flying away somewhere.
Oh, he has a court case at Barcelona, and he will be back in training tomorrow.
Thank you, Arsene. And do you feel offended by some of the things you read and hear after all you've achieved?
No,
Why?
because I'm used to it. I'm here for 20 years, and I think in life it's important to do what you think is right, and all the rest is judgment. And judgment, I'm in a public job, and I have to accept that. You know what I think. I have to behave with my values and with the way I've seen my job, and accept that everybody can have an opinion on it.
Did you say to anyone this week that you will decide your future in March or April?
Yes.
Will it be March or April?
I don't know. If I said March or April, it is because I didn't know.
Have you spoken to the main shareholder or the chief executive?
Every time I have the opportunity, I do.
What's their view on your future?
Sorry?
What is their view on your future, as far as you understand?
I do not want to come back on that. You know, I think at the moment we have other priorities. My person, as I said many times, is not important. It's Arsenal Football Club and the future of our team and what we can achieve until the end of the season. That is important.
Just finally on this, Arsene, do you ever feel, because your face the other night understandably was a picture, it looked like it was pretty hard for you to take, and I'm sure it was. Do you ever feel like you've had enough?
No, you know, no matter what happens, I will manage next season. Is it here or somewhere else? You know, that's absolutely for sure. But on a night like that, of course, I hate defeat, and I hate to lose games, and I want to do extremely well for this club, and I feel a big responsibility. You do not stay somewhere for 20 years and you walk out of a defeat like that and you whistle, you know. It is difficult to take, but as well, I have the strength and the experience to respond to that.
Final one on the game on Monday.
And yes, sorry, I would just like to add as well, we played against a good Bayern team who has won this competition, and there's 11 top-class players, and you have sometimes to give credit to your opponent as well. And I think it's important as well in a competition that when you want to put things into perspective, that there are top-class players.
Very different kettle of fish, of course, on Monday. You have a very close relationship with Boreham Wood, who played Sutton, I think, on the 7th in the FA Trophy, beat them 5-0.
Yes.
I understand you might have been there to watch that, is that right?
Look, they had 6 or 7 players that didn't play Sutton, you know, so they didn't play with their regular team, and I think as well I expect a completely different game against us. It will be the FA Cup with everybody supporting them. They're preparing this game for a long time in their head with a huge enthusiasm, so you cannot compare that with the game against Boreham Wood.
But you did go along to watch that game?
No, I was not at the game. I was busy on the day.
Thank you.
Hi, Arsene. Do you feel the increased speculation around your future and the intensity of it rising up again on this occasion is unhelpful for the club, for the players? Do you feel that perhaps it would be better if some clarity was brought to the situation sooner rather than later? No,
I think we have to focus on real problems, you know, and real problems are the way we play football, and not my future. The priorities are how we respond to defeat and how we play together. That's what it is to be professional. It's always important not to look for wrong excuses in life, and to focus on what is important, what you can influence, and what is your job.
You've always taken the criticism that the fans, when they go home unhappy, very personally. The criticism is sort of reaching new heights with growing sections of the support base feeling seemingly that it is time for you to move on.
Maybe, you know, that's an eternal debate when you are somewhere for a long time and you have a big disappointment. But even if I go, Arsenal will not win every single game in the future. You know, that's part of it. You have to accept that as much as it hurts to lose games, as much, if you look at the history of Arsenal had less Champions League game when I arrived than I had in my career already. So, and since we have done a few, so I hope that in the future we can win this trophy, or Arsenal can win this trophy. But it's not like before I arrived, Arsenal has won 5 times a European Cup. They've never won it, you know, and they played maybe 10 games in the whole history of the club. So you have as well to take into perspective some demands.
And with that in mind, and what you've seen at a club like Manchester United, who went through transition, do people have to be careful what they wish for in that sense?
No, you know, you have to. I think what is important is that the club makes the right decisions for the future. And I did not work here for 20 years to not to care about this club, you know, and because I had many opportunities to go somewhere else during that period. And I care about this club, and I care about its future, and I think it is very important that the club is always in safe hands. Is it me or somebody else? What I'm sure it will be.
On that, is it going to be your decision or the club's, or a mutual decision?
I do not want to continue to talk about that now. I think that chapter is closed, and we have to focus on what is important.
Just finally from me, this position that Arsenal are in now is a familiar one. These sort of questions have been familiar over the last 6 or 7 years. Is there anything underlying that's going wrong here that you have identified?
Look, as long as you do not win absolutely everything, there's always something wrong, you know, and you have to accept that because you want always to go to the next level. On the other hand, in the last 20 years in Europe, only 3 clubs managed to play every year in the Champions League, and it's Arsenal, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid, and nobody else. So that means if everything is not perfect, not all is wrong, you know, and we have to accept that as well. And it will be difficult again this year because it's a fight at the top level where we have to focus on what really is important now, is the quality of our performances and the quality of our games.
Thank you very much. We take the microphones out, please. That's it.